If you're watching this right now, there's a good chance you're dealing with something that's been keeping you up at night. Maybe someone broke a contract and you're the one left holding the bill. Maybe a business partner didn't hold up their end of the deal. Maybe someone owes you money, real money, and they're doing everything they can to avoid paying it. Or maybe you've already been sued and you need someone in your corner fast. Whatever brought you here, I want you to know you made the right move by scheduling a consultation with us. But before we sit down for our strategy session, I put this video together specifically for you because I want you to walk in prepared, confident, and already clear on what we're going to do together. Here's exactly what we're going to cover in the next few minutes. First, I'm going to share with you what I would personally tell my own family to look for when hiring a civil litigation attorney. Because the right attorney can mean the difference between recovering what you're owed and walking away with nothing. Then I'm going to walk you through exactly what happens during your case analysis and strategy session. And I want to be clear, this is not your typical free consultation. This is a real strategy session where we dig into your situation and map out exactly how we fight for what you're owed. You're walking away with clarity, not just a handshake and a follow-up email. And finally, I'm going to share some real results we've gotten for real clients so you can see what's actually possible when you have the right team in your corner. Now, real quick, before we jump into things, I want to tell you a little bit about who I am and how it's people just like you who inspired me to build Huff Legal into what it is today. Before I started my own firm, I clerked for a judge. That experience gave me something most attorneys simply don't have, a front row seat to how judges actually think, how they evaluate arguments, what wins cases, and what wastes everyone's time. Most attorneys walk into a courtroom and guess at what a judge wants to see. I've sat on the other side of that bench. I know. And what really pushed me to build this firm was watching people with legitimate cases lose, not because the other side was right, but because the strategy wasn't there. Money that should have been recovered, gone. That's what Huff Legal is built on. We don't file lawsuits just to make noise. We build leverage, we apply pressure where it matters, and we push for outcomes that actually make sense for our clients. And what our team here at Huff Legal does, we're relentless about it. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what matters when you're choosing who's going to represent you in a civil dispute. Because here's the reality. A lot of attorneys will take your case, run up billable hours, and drag things out without a clear plan for how it actually ends in your favor. And in civil litigation, that can cost you more than just money. It can cost you time, energy, and opportunities you'll never get back. So here's what I would tell my own family to look for. Number one, find someone who is strategic, not just aggressive. There's a big difference between an attorney who files motions to look busy and one who moves with a clear purpose. Civil litigation isn't about who makes the most noise. It's about who is the most prepared. You want someone who knows exactly what leverage they're building and why every move they make is pushing toward a real outcome. Number two, look for someone who understands both sides of the courtroom. The best civil litigators aren't just good at arguing their side. They understand the other side is going to argue and what they're going to say. They anticipate the defense. They know what a judge is looking for, and they build their case around winning, not just filing. That kind of perspective only comes from a real courtroom experience at every level. Number three, make sure they're honest with you about your case. You don't want an attorney who tells you what you want to hear just to get you to sign a retainer. You want someone who gives you a real honest assessment, even when that means telling you something you might not want to hear. That honesty up front is what leads to better decisions and better outcomes down the line. And number four, look for a track record of real results. Ask them what they've recovered for clients. Ask them about similar cases to yours. Ask them what their strategy would be, not in vague terms, but specifically. Any civil litigation attorney worth hiring should be able to speak to their results clearly and confidently. Now let's talk about what's actually going to happen when we sit down together, because I want you to understand that this is not your typical free consultation. A lot of firms use free consultations as a sales pitch. You come in, they ask maybe one or two questions, they tell you things look complicated, and then they hand you a retainer agreement. That's not what we do. When you come in for our strategy and case analysis session at Huff Legal, we come prepared, and we expect you to leave with something real. Here's how it works. We start by getting the full picture of your situation. I want to understand everything. What was agreed to? What was breached? What have you lost? And what's happened since? The details matter enormously in civil litigation, and nothing is too small to mention. From there, we assess the strength of your position. What claims do you have? What's the exposure on the other side? What does the evidence look like right now? And what do we need to build a compelling case and narrative? We give you a straight, honest read on where things stand, not a vague, it depends. Then we build the strategy. This is where it gets real. We talk about how we approach the other party, whether litigation is the right move, or whether there is a faster path to the resolution, what leverage we have, and how we use it. We map out the path forward step by step, so you leave that session knowing exactly what happens next and why. And if you're already being sued and you're on the defense side, we do the same thing in reverse. We look at the claims against you, identify the weaknesses in their case, and build a strategy to protect what you've built. By the time you walk out, you're going to have a real game plan. Now let me show you what's actually possible, because when you're in the middle of a dispute like this, it can be hard to see how it ends in your favor. So let me share some real outcomes we've gotten for real clients. The $2 million recovery. I had a client who came to us after a serious civil dispute where a significant amount of money was on the line. The other side was dug in. They weren't making things easy, but we built a methodical case, applied the right pressure at the right time, and ultimately recovered $2 million for our client. That's money that without the right legal strategy, they may have never seen. Then there's a six-figure breach of contract judgment. A client came to us after someone simply refused to honor a contract that they had signed. The other party thought they could walk away from their obligations without consequences. We took it to litigation, built a tight case around the facts and the paper trail, and won a six-figure judgment. Our client got what he was owed, and then some. But what's more important is not taking clients through prolonged litigation. I had a $4 million contract dispute where we were able to recover that and never filed the case in court. We were able to do it through settlement. These aren't lucky breaks. They're what happens when you approach civil litigation with a clear strategy, real preparation, and the willingness to go the distance when the other side won't do what's right. Your situation is unique, but the approach is the same. We assess everything, we build the leverage, and we fight for what you're owed. So here's where we are. You've got a strategy session scheduled with us, and now you know exactly what to expect when you call in. Come ready to share everything. Bring any contracts, agreements, emails, or documents that are relevant to your situation. The more context we have going in, the more value we can give you coming out. I want you to come into this session knowing this. We are going to take your situation seriously. We are going to give you a real, honest assessment of where things stand, and we are going to map out exactly what it looks like to fight for what you're owed. You took the first step by scheduling that call. Now let us take it from here. We'll talk to you soon.